Joining me now is columnist for the Daily Telegraph, Tim Blair. Tim, fantastic to have you on the program. Chris Kenny has been hogging you too much this year, frankly, and I'm glad you're on my program tonight. But it has been a rough week for the Liberal Party. We've had a number of damaging leaks from their election post-mortem. The full report has been handed down today, and it's warning the party is not fit for purpose. There's factional warlords being blamed for the dwindling membership. What have you made of this report, and is Peter Dutton the right man to rebuild the party?
The report goes on and on about branding issues and how the party is perceived. It doesn't have a lot in what I've read about policy, which might be something that the Liberal Party should look at as well. It's it talks about not being in touch with modern Australia. Like, I wonder
why they draw the median at that, because there's no way that John Howard, in terms of social stuff, was ever really in touch with modern Australia. It's a very old-fashioned chap. He got elected more than once from memory, Rita. So maybe the issue isn't being teal or being green or being a modern, whatever the hell that means. Whenever I hear people describe themselves as a modern liberal, it's generally the cue to leave the room.
Absolutely. Where is the substantial debate about policy and what the party actually stands for? It all seems to be about quotas or targets, as they prefer to call them, and modern Australia. And what about actually where you stand on energy policy, where you stand on meritocracy, where you stand on free speech, things that actually, build a party's backbone and ideology? There's just none of that I've seen thus far, but we'll have a thorough reading of the report.
It does make a great deal, Rita, in the stuff that we've seen so far about how the party has alienated people because of, factional warlords are messing with pre-selection and so on. I don't think anyone in Australian history has ever walked into a polling booth and gone, I was about to tick the box for the coalition, but they do have those factional warlords. It's not a front-of-mind issue for voters. They want policies, and there's a range of opportunities here with things like the cost of living, which should be a coalition strong point, and it's just being abandoned. It's being left on the battlefield. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely. I would have thought a lot of focus would be on how the demographics have changed, how those formerly blue ribbon seats really aren't their base anymore. They've got to look to the suburbs, look to migrant communities, look to the working and middle classes, aspirational classes for their voters. But we'll discuss that in more detail, I'm sure, next week. But today, all eyes were on the White House as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky delivered an impassioned plea for more assistance in the war against Russia. President Biden has released this 20-second clip of the pair walking in slow motion. Yes, really, there's no audio with this, Tim, just the two of them walking in slow motion like it's some sort of an action movie. What have you made of today's adulation for President Zelensky?
Well, for a start, Rita, that's the most boring Baywatch remake I've ever seen. That is some dreadful vision. Secondly, I see that Zelensky's been characterised by some wags online as Biden's boss, and just how anxious Biden would have been to have, oh my God, the boss is dropping in unexpectedly. Well, in a way, he is the boss. The way he's throwing out all his demands for more billions. Who's really running the show here? It's plainly not Joe on a number of fronts, and for a number of reasons, evidently.